Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So this weekend has been a double header of racing, and this has been the second race in that weekend. I've just finished the 600 meters in the local open meeting, so I'll come back to that bit in a minute. But effectively this weekend has been the transition from longer racing through to track racing. Yesterday's race was a road relay, a three-stage road relay in Brighton, which was the Sussex Championships for road relays, competing in the men Masters 40s age group. Ran the second leg, went pretty well. It's a 2 mile loop, or a 2 mile run it was a 1 mile loop twice effectively, and we ran the second leg and had to go and chase some people down, and which I did fairly quickly, and then looked down at my watch and realised that I was running at around about 5:09, 5:10 pace, which was obviously a bit quick for about the first sort of half mile. So I had to scale that back, kind of consciously, but also naturally had to slow down because I knew that pace just wasn't going to be sustainable for me. So it was a decent race, and we're well pleased. I think we finished about 8th, so I'm pretty happy with that. No niggles, no pains, and a decent pace for me, so I was pretty happy with that. On to the second race this weekend, 600 meters. Now 600 meters is a funny event, one that is commonly seen at the start of the track season, and I'm not entirely sure why we run the 600, if I'm totally honest. I've got a few theories, and I've talked with a few other people, and no one really seems to know. It's an unusual distance, one that you don't see in other championship events, along with the 300 meters, which is commonly run as well in open races. So the 600 meters, and I think the reason why we run 600 is because it gives a good indication of how your 600 meter, or how good your 800 meter time is going to be during the season. Gives you an indication of where you're at without actually getting an 800 meter time, which other people can then look at and see how you're performing, and see, really give a benchmark for your competitors in terms of actually how you're doing. So that's why I think we run 600 meters. I might be wrong, I might not be. If you've got a view on why we run 600s, let me know in the comments below, because I'd be interested to hear your thoughts as well. But that's my view on why we run 600s. It's a great event. I really enjoy it because I'm a 400, 800 meter runner as opposed to an 8 and 15. So I find it really, really enjoyable having that sense of speed, but not necessarily requiring the endurance to even get to an 800 or beyond that, to a 1,000 or a 1,500 meter race. So I really enjoy 600s, but they are really, really tricky to run. If you've ever run a 400, even in that kind of race, you know that people in the elite runners will often have a strategy on how they're going to run 400. I mean, it's not a sprint the entire way. You'll often hear commentators in big races saying how somebody's gone out hard in the first 200, or they're taking it easy and then they come through in the final 200. There's even a strategy in the 400, and 600 is just a longer extension of that. It's a race which is over in a flash, really. By the time you've actually consciously thought about where you're at, the first 200, 250, even 300 have gone past, and all of a sudden you realise you're halfway through the race and you need to actually get involved about where you are, where you need to be, who you need to chase down, what your tactics need to be. So it is a race that you really do need to try and switch on from right from the very start. But also you can't go flat out for the first 200. If you do, you're inevitably going to struggle in the last 200, in exactly the same as a 400 meter race. So it's a really interesting one to run. If you're looking for a time which is going to be even pace, let's say you're looking for a 1:30 time, you can run at 30 seconds for each 200, and that would be a good strategy. But quite often you might find that you're running 28, 29 for the first 200s and then slowing down in the last 200. If you go off too quick in the first 200 and you find yourself going through the first bit in 26, 27, you may feel that you've actually got some time up on where you actually wanted to be, but actually in reality you'll inevitably, unless you've misjudged what your ability is, you'll inevitably find that you'll lose those seconds and possibly more in the second and third 200s. So it's a real tricky one to try and judge, but a really fun event nonetheless. So my target today was to get round in 1:38. If you've seen a previous video, you saw that indoors I ran 2:15. So I'm thinking that, you know, at 1:38 is probably about where I need to be at the moment, where I was hoping to get to. So that was where I was at. The race looked like it was going to be reasonably competitive, and it was a decent enough race. I didn't feel like I'd run quite as well as I wanted to, but I've just seen my time, and I got a 1:36.5, so I'm pretty pleased with that at the moment. It was better than I ran, I think, last year, so hopefully I've got something to build on for the rest of this season. Shortly after this happened, I did the same 600 last season. I ended up getting myself a little bit injured, which then sort of really put me off that off the track season for the rest of the year. I'm not feeling that at the moment. I'm feeling pretty good at the moment, so I'm hoping that they're going to be able to transition that after a little bit more speed work and lactic endurance work, that I'm going to be able to convert that into a fairly decent 800 as we go through the season. So that's me. Thanks for watching. Here we are at the track season. It's only early April, but it feels like the sun's coming out. It feels a little bit warmer. It's looking forward to a good summer of racing. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you again for the next video. Take care and enjoy your run.